both of you on the show with us, and I'm really looking forward to hearing more about what we were talking about off. Special guests with us on the LeakProject Network today. We have Michael E. Boyd and BurnEye Conkin. BurnEye, the Mad Alchemist. He's really nice. But so I've watched a bit of your stuff, Mr. Boyd. I'd really like to know more about you personally. You're an engineer. You're a physicist. Can you tell us a little bit about your background? And thank you for speaking with us today here at LeakProject.
Sure. I appreciate the opportunity to share my work and thoughts with you and the people that are listening and watching. And when I do my presentation, if you have any issues with the sound, please let me know, because I'll turn it up. I just sometimes have, because what I do is in my presentation, I'll have little videos embedded in my presentation slides. So, and in my presentation, I do have I do talk about my background, technically speaking. And but I put it in the theme of, like I said, nonviolent communication, and basically what I call compassion culture.
Well, compassion culture is great. And you brought up a minute ago about how violence, it seems like, is normalized in our environment. And you turn on the television and it has an abnormally high level of violence in the television episodes and the scripting. It's very weird, actually.
Well, it's actually it's like they do it like where you get to the climax where there's going to be like somebody's getting ready to hurt somebody or something or shoot somebody, and then they cut to the commercials.
Right.
Right.
Cycle, right? They have to have that programming in the arm and the
So I mean, basically, kids, if you take two toddlers that are from different families, different so-called race, whatever, and you put them together, they share. They're naturally giving to each other. You have to learn to enjoy violence, okay? And that's how they teach you to enjoy it, is using that type of technique, essentially. But
sorry, can I give a good example of that? For instance, just biology, like a cat, your pet cat, and a family, and or a dog, and playing with the animal, like the cat will take its claws in and intentionally never harm another species, another person within that group, right? Mm-hmm. For instance.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Well, being compassionate is, I think, a natural state. Being violent and aggressive is something, like I said, that you're programmed to do and enjoy. But in any case, if I could, I have a presentation that I'd like to share, if that's okay.
That'd be wonderful. Absolutely.
So can I go on share screen here? Is that okay?
Sure can. Absolutely. I clicked the button.
Okay, can you see the slideshow?
Yes.
Okay.
Anything that says reptilians and volcanoes, sign me up.
Okay, so now I'm gonna go down here to, let's see here, just I'm turning off the video. Can you guys see this little video thing displayed up in the right upper side on your display?
Not yet.
Not yet. I just see the slide of the hypothesis for transdimensional Earthlings.
Oh, okay, cool. So let me see here. hold on. Sorry, I'm.
Rex, just a little backstory. Have you ever seen the Jim Wills video where they're down in South America and his son's like giving an interview about like they found some church ruin or cathedral or something, and there was like they went in and they were exposing the underground tunnels, and then there was a painting of this like reptilian thing coming out of the cave, and it was like, if next time you talk to him, please bring up that video, because I just get the chills every time I see it or think of it.
So yeah, I talk a bit about the reptilians and the whole reptilian conspiracy, and and I talk about the Greys. So, but from what I call the perspective of domination culture.
Okay.
Okay, so let me see. So now I have this slide here about Leslie Kean, and it's so I want to talk about UFO stigma. Essentially, she was asked about, she's like a journalist, a pretty famous journalist, and she gave her perspective on UFO issues, what surprised her most, and she's talking about stigma. He said, especially in the early years of my reporting, I was most surprised by the lack of curiosity among scientists and policymakers about UFOs. I was also surprised by how entrenched and powerful the stigma was in the media and in the culture in general. It mystified me why just about everyone was not impacted by the potential implications of the evidence for this phenomena. It didn't take long for me to realize that most people in a position to make a difference were uninformed and understandably had other priorities. Still, given how fascinated I was with this, and given what it might mean if even one UFO was extraterrestrial, I found this apathy and disinterest hard to understand. So now, hold on, I want to. Okay, I want to talk about what this stigma, domination culture, and intergenerational trauma. And I want to focus on, for example, the middle one, surviving slavery and racial violence in the American South. And then it shows Ashanti's great-great-grandparents' trauma passed on through the generation, and it goes abandonment, domestic violation, low self-esteem, CPTSD. And then it shows this genetic thing on the side. It's called epigenetics. So basically, if you don't deal with it when you work on your trauma, you choose to not pass it on to the next generation. So if you don't deal with it, though, it's passed on through what's called epigenetics. Now, there's this guy, Dr. Marshall Rosenberg. He explains in domination culture where we are taught to enjoy violence. Researchers and scientists who explore UFOs, ghosts, near-death experience, etc., experience the trauma of stigma. We discover that social stigma is a form of cultural violence that we pass on to our children. We worry more about being correct instead of knowing the truth. The truth is violence is part of our culture, and trauma is intergenerational. Trauma is passed on through epigenetics.
We have giraffe schools. I use the word giraffe, you see, as a symbol for nonviolence. We'll see today.
Can you hear that okay?
We're going to study as a
Turn
language.
it up just a little bit, Mike.
And so I use giraffe language for that because giraffes have
better?
the largest heart of any land animal.
Yeah.
Oh,
Lost it.
lost it. Sorry, folks.
Oh, no problem.
And what a synchronicity, wasn't it? Michael Dank in the Z interview you had yesterday, they were talking about this
Sorry.
quite in depth, I
Have to
think.
pause
Rex?
it.
Yeah, very simple. I mean, this is.
Can
this
you
is
guys say
fantastic.
something, please?
Testing 1, 2, testing 1, 2,
Yeah, I lost my.
testing 1, 2, 3.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, brother. Just the video's paused now.
Yeah, I know, but
we had sound up to that one point.
yeah, the problem is I have an external speaker that because I can't really control the.
And we lost your volume. Can't
Yeah,
hear
Mike.
you. Can't hear you at all, Mike.
Ladies and gentlemen, stand by. We're having some technical opportunities here. We're getting the audio glitches fixed. Michael Boyd has a presentation that he's sharing with us, and we're just getting the audio worked out.
I'm actually pretty stoked that you're covering the epigenetic side of things because it's so key in trying to figure out this generational trauma and healing within societies. And Rex, I absolutely have to commend what you're doing with the different Indigenous First Nation groups around your areas and helping spread their culture and stories and work lately, man. It's awesome.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you again, Mike.
Okay. So now I'm going to play this and let me see if it's loud enough. The problem is, you see, that's like
the word giraffe is simple for non-violence.
Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Study of the language of the heart. So I use giraffe language for that because giraffes have the largest heart.
It is awfully quiet, though. I'm wondering if we could get, if
Yeah,
we could
can
amplify
we
that audio.
try going back to the microphone here?
That I call jackal language.
I mean the
Language that cuts.
And makes it very easy to be violent. Very easy to be violent.
how's that?
In that book I mentioned,
It's better. That's better, yeah.
one of the things you have to educate people is
Absolutely.
violence enjoyable. Jackal language.
Yeah,
as I
I'm gonna
mentioned,
start
is
it
a
over,
language
sorry.
of moralistic judgments.
Oh, it's okay. No problem. Yeah, I'll edit all that part out so it'll be seamless and
Take
the
two at 1303, sir. 1303 is your take two start.
Okay, so here we go.
We have giraffe schools. I use the word giraffe, you see, as a symbol for nonviolence. We'll see today that the language we're going to study is a language of the heart. And so I use giraffe language for that because giraffes have the largest heart of any land animal. So for these political reasons and theological reasons, we started to develop a language that I call jackal language. It's a language that cuts us off from life and makes it very easy to be violent. Very easy to be violent. In fact, in that book I mentioned, Wink says that domination cultures, one of the things you have to educate people is to make violence enjoyable. Jackal language, as I've mentioned, is a language of moralistic judgments. You think in terms of who's right, who's wrong, who's good, who's bad. And when you mention change, yes, we want change at times. So how do you get change in the jackal system? Watch a parent try to bring about change in the child. This is a parent teaching a young child say one of the most important words in jackal. Say you're sorry. I'm sorry. You're not really sorry. I can see it. You're not really sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, I forgive you. Can you imagine a game like that? Can you imagine a parent responding to a child that way? And if a parent is going to do that to a child in their own family, what are they going to do to people from other cultures who behave in a way they don't appreciate?
So now I'm talking about this next slide, I'm showing some of my background stuff, but part of domination culture is you learn that basically it's built on a system of reward and punishment. And I'm an archaeologist, and as archaeologists, you study what's called anthropology. Archaeology is part of anthropology. And there's a lot of it has to do with this culture of domination, where my theory is that it started about 10,000 years ago when we had what was called the Cultural Revolution, where before that, when we were hunter-gatherers, we depended on each other individually for survival, and that created a more egalitarian society. When we developed agriculture, we developed haves and have-nots, and that created a system where, you know, basically, if you were, you know, basically dominant, you could collect material wealth. And so as a result, this social stigma of normalizing violence basically took over. At least that's my hypothesis. Now, I also did this report for this essay for the Bigelow Institute for Consciousness Research. And in that, I was studying ghosts because I've seen ghosts. and
as have I, my friend, as have I. There are certain places that entities, it's almost like there's crossovers and stuff. But yeah, that's I'll let you continue, please. This is absolutely fascinating. The actual scientific and quick question, what scientifically are ghosts referred to? Is it like exoplasm? Is it like consciousness, spirit, anything like that, or just ghosts?
Well, a ghost, there's different kinds of ghosts. There's ghosts that are basically an echo in like space-time. So they go through the same pattern, they repeat the same pattern over and over again. And then there's ghosts that show intelligence. And what I think ghosts, and I've seen a lot of it for this research I did a lot of watching videos, and I see the ghosts doing the same type of things that the tic-tac did. So I think that basically my personal belief is that there's like this medium, what we call space-time. And when you death is a human construct. Let's just leave it at that. And I actually have an interview with a Gray here where he actually talks about it. But back to what I was talking about is this research. I was looking at this theory of mine about having, you know, the agricultural revolution causing this social stratification and normalizing violence. So what I did is I looked at different religions. I looked at the Egyptian Book of the Dead, the Tibetan Book of the Dead, and the Mayan Book of the Dead. And both the Mayan Book of the Dead and the Egyptian Book of the Dead, they have what I would say reward punishment type thing. Especially the Egyptians, like they believed that you died every day and were reborn in the morning. And so you were judged every day. And then they had a like final judgment where That's the one we're most familiar with, where Osiris would weigh the heart of the person against a feather. And if they were found wanting, they'd feed the heart to a crocodile god. So
I've read some of these ancient proverbs, and that's like I'm just listening from like my alchemy minded and like inspired research to hearing that you've actually researched all of these ancient works, and I'm so intrigued right now. So please do continue with this, brother. I appreciate it.
cool. I appreciate it. So now what was really cool is I was studying the Tibetan Book of the Dead, and the Tibetan, basically nirvana is when you reach enlightenment, essentially you're in the void. It's the absence of everything. Which, and then I noticed that they have these like things when you die, like every day your family members are supposed to do certain like prayers and stuff. And I noticed on the third day, they were talking about what's called karmic delusions. Now, you know what karma is. It's like karma is basically the reward punishment thing. And so what they basically say is in the third day, you get rid of your karmic delusions. And they talk about like, well, you know, if you're a Christian, you get rid of those Christian things. And so essentially, that's all baggage that you carry with you. And sometimes people don't deal with their karmic delusions and they become a ghost. You follow?
Absolutely. I'm loving this. This resonates with the soul right here. I've got lots to say, but I'm biting my tongue until you are done, brother.
So so what I have here is I have shown like on the left here, I show on the slide here, I show my work at Santa Barbara Research Center. And, you know, I worked in an environmental test lab. And then in the late 90s, I worked at an equipment manufacturer that made hard disk equipment. And you can see below here is my some of my patents. And device and method to generate and capture gravita magnetic energy.
I've been reading that, like you read it 3 times over to fully understand the amplitude of it. It is like I look forward to future talks that we are going to have after this presentation, my friend.
Cool. So I have this, I was looking, you know, I was thinking about karmic delusions and all this reward punishment stuff. And I found this award I got back in 1991. I got the best paper award for a paper. I was the co-author of it. It was before the National Institutes of Standards and Technology. And it's called The Effect of Dislocations on the Performance of Long Wave Infrared Mercury Cadmium Telluride PV Detectors. And you'll see my name is the last one on the list of
Boyds.
And the funny part about this is back in those days, they would, when these PhDs would make their papers for publication, they did their graphs and figures with pencils. And I actually bought a Macintosh. And so I knew how to make these like graphs and collect the data and make it into graphs. And so when the PhD saw that I knew how to do all this stuff, they all wanted me to work on their project. And so since I made the graphs for their papers, that's why you see my name on there.
Nice. I feel that.
So, but basically it comes back to karmic delusions. So now I want to talk about this intergenerational trauma. An example is abandonment. Now I'll start off with like we carry trauma. How this trauma we carry is a result of we learn from our parents how to deal with traumatic things. And we learn it when we're really young. Now, when I was 4.5, my mom took me to the New York World's Fair with my brothers and sisters. There were 5 of us. And I got lost at the World's Fair for like 2 or 3 hours. And I thought I was an orphan. Now, the reason I would think I was an orphan was because my grandpa, Vernon Boyd, he was an orphan too. And so I'm going to show you this.
Your grandfather part of the orphan trains of that time?
I don't think so. I think he was probably offspring of a fair.
Understood.
So, but that's just my speculation. I don't know. So my grandpa was, he went to the North Pole 48 times and the South Pole 3 times with Admiral Byrd. And he was in this movie, The Secret Land. It's from 1948, American documentary film about the United States Navy expedition codenamed Operation High Jump, to explore Antarctica and to evaluate its potential for military operations in 1946, with Vernon Davis Boyd, my grandpa, is shown here.
That is amazing.
The Admiral and the party ride weasels 12 miles south to visit his earliest camp, for the radio towers. Little America the First, now 40 feet under the snows of 17 years. And above it, Little America the Second, 25 feet under the snows fallen since 1935. Captain Boyd, United States Marine Corps, ties on a safety line, while Admiral Byrd and 3 veterans of his previous expeditions watch. Boyd inches his carcass down the old ventilating hatch. It stood 20 feet in the air when it was put up 12 years before. He pokes a stick up as a marker for the main hatch. Now all hands, the Admiral included, will have a chance to go look-see. Below, the old-timers find a lantern that lights at once, and all manner of other gear. For here in Antarctica, there is no decay, no rust, no dust, not even germs. Fruits, vegetables, meats, all good after 17 years. Small wonder Byrd preaches that one day Antarctica may be the world's storehouse, to keep the 7-year surplus for the 7 lean years. Byrd, bringing with him the old corn cob he'd forgotten in 1930, comes up last. He meets heavy going, but he makes it the hard way and seems to like it.
So now let's talk a little bit about the trauma. This intergenerational trauma of abandonment. My grandpa, he was famous, I guess. But when he was off doing all this stuff with Byrd, he had abandoned my grandma.
No doubt the military traumas of that time.
And so,
And that's after the war too, to choose to go down there.
well, she was abandoned by him, and so my grandma couldn't take care of her 2 children, my dad and my aunt, and so she had to put my dad and my aunt into a orphanage for 8 years. And so, and I was researching for the, like I said, for this Bigelow Institute of Consciousness. I was studying my grandpa, and I came across this this colonel who was being interviewed about Antarctica, and he mentioned my grandpa. And he said his name was V.D. Boyd, which he thought was interesting. And he said that he was the only officer he ever knew that owned a whorehouse in South America. So after we had our the pandemic hit, me and my family started talking a lot on Zoom, because Zoom like connected a lot of people.
Very nice.
And so I asked my aunt, who's still alive, about this what this guy said was true about Grandpa, if she knew about Grandpa owning a whorehouse. And she goes, "Oh yeah, I knew about that, and that's why he wasn't allowed on the property. And he said, and your grandma and your grandma had a gun, a shotgun." And
The way
so
of the land back then.
yeah, so basically he was persona non grata. But the point I'm trying to make is this trauma of abandonment. We can trace it all the way down to my grandpa and down to me. And so I carried that around for years, and I had to go through counseling and stuff. And I like basically blocked it out and didn't remember. And so it would like make me want to stay in relationships with people that weren't healthy, because I was afraid of abandonment, of being alone. So now, once I learned that, then it's what's called unburdening. Okay. And we all have this. We all have this. We're all dealing with it. And so it's important to talk about it, because like I said, if you don't work out your trauma, it carries over. So now this earlier we had Marshall Rosenberg, and basically what nonviolent communication is, or compassion culture, is four basic things: observation, feeling, needs, and requests. And that's when you're talking about yourself, and when you're trying to be empathetic to other people, like when you're trying.
I'm reading this. I like that. I like this a lot.
And then so basically we're all the same. We all have the same feelings and the same needs. And when we make mistakes, we can use the process of nonviolent communication, mourning, and self-forgiveness to show us where we can grow instead of getting caught up in moralistic self-judgment. All moralistic judgment, whether positive or negative, are tragic expressions of an unmet need. So that's what it's about: compassion. It's not about being better or getting an award, or it's like people talk about, what's your IQ? It's a total construct. It's just something made up. And
exactly. It's being able to drop the ego and see from a higher consciousness perspective of how things affect other people and what they'd think of the situation, how they feel, or how you'd feel in that situation, and then finding middle ground, so and not acting in emotional trigger.
Yeah, it's finding truth together. So let's see. I like to put these little it's a kid with another kid with a pencil, and he looks like he's ready to cry. And what it says is, when your dad shows up for career day and tells everyone He battles an ancient satanic cult of pedophile elites through memes. So now, can you guys see this? Okay, this is our
Yes, sir.
this is our
Absolutely.
UFO narrative from the context of dominance culture. On the left, we have a cartoon of what we call the virgin gray. And on the right, we have the reptilian, or what we call the Chad draconian. So let's start with the virgin gray. Worked with humans while still abducting them. Their relationships with humans broke down when President Jimmy Carter ordered to destroy their secret bases after constant abduction. Mixes the DNA of different species, brings the Ameri mutt meme to its ultimate potential. Has to use mind control because it can't not even beat up human women and human children. Does not invade Earth as the Chad draconians are in the way. Also, humans can nuke their spaceship. Completely genderless, has to rely on artificial wombs and other organisms, DNA, in order to reproduce and survive. We can help them with that. Allows humanity to become more technologically advanced, even though they view humans as test subject species and food. Parasites as they can't reproduce by themselves. Waste products are secreted through the skin. Has no original culture and a way of life, a robotics and soulless species. Uses humans as test subjects because they are insecure about their DNA. Held prisoners at Area 51, crash landed on Earth because they had a drug problem. Now, my hypothesis is the grays are time travelers from Earth's future. Now let's talk about the Chad draconians.
I resonate with that, and it is also very similar in the South Park edition that they did of these gray blobs from the future that came and took their germs. But, so I actually kind of do resonate with this thesis myself on the grays being this blobbish gray from the future, possibly.
Yeah. So let's say the Chad draconians, these are the reptilians. They spit out acidic bile and use sharp claws to kill their enemy. Blood rituals, cannibalism in mammal food. Looks like a walking dragon. View themselves as the master species, is a lizard supremacist. Female draconians can lay multiple eggs, has no problem with reproduction. Can shapeshift to avoid direct contact. Behind pretty much every conspiracy theory, likely responsible for Judaism, the destruction of the Roman Empire, the New World Order, etc. More technologically advanced than the virgin grays. Never needs to invade most of the time, as they are experts at deception and disguise. Use humans as slaves. Interbreeds with humans, not because of experiments, but to help their reptilian agenda. Wants to take over Earth because they see it as their spiritual home because of the dinosaurs. Do not want to destroy Earth, unlike the virgin grays and some humans. These are my hypothesis, the time travelers from Earth's past. Now, this is a little experiment on feelings I'm doing, and I'm going to introduce this gray. The draconian
answer only that it's true on other levels. Do you understand? So, well, no. Yes. Okay, go. Now, go. When the war started.
He got a deal pretty now, thing.
That's the truth.
So what did you think of my ending?
I liked it. I like that.
So now, did you feel it was funny when you saw the end part?
Oh man, the memes and like how you went through that is pretty epic, my friend. I really did enjoy that. I just had myself muted so it wouldn't, like, the laughing wouldn't take the screen away from you while you're telling the story with it, because it was amazing, my friend. Amazing.
I want to give an opinion on it real quick. Let me say something about it real quick, because when I watched it, I've seen bits and pieces of that video before, and I've questioned whether or not, I'm like, okay, it's probably just it's a film. It's not real. But
It's pretty old, right? Like,
but if it is real,
for a while.
1964 purportedly is when it was recorded at Area 51 by the military, and the guy doing the interview was the Draconian. So basically, the Draconians are in control of the world governments.
if it's legit.
In Canada, your prime minister is a reptilian.
So I just thought, okay, so check it out. I thought to myself, if they're really doing this kind of stuff, that's fucked up. Pardon my language. But of course they're going to do that kind of stuff. If they captured an extraterrestrial human being, they think that he's going to be able to give them information. Of course they're going to do that. But it's wicked, man. I thought it was cruel.
Oh yeah, it is. It is totally cruel. It's
Right, like, and it seems like some pretty genuine like reactions when like that flash and stuff go off on it, like the animals, like
talking about scopolamine.
yeah, like,
is a drug.
it'd be interesting to see, like, if we can do a internet wayback machine search or something of when that clip first appeared on the internet, and then it's like, if it's like at the very beginning of the internet, it pretty much proves that it's like from before the internet, essentially.
Well, I did a request to under the Freedom of Information Act to the military, and they denied they had any information. And I heard the name of some guy who supposedly created it, and I emailed him, never heard anything back. So I as far as I can tell, it's authentic. Okay, and so the burden of proof is on someone to show me it's not, because obviously the government's not going to tell me about it if it's from back in 1964. They haven't even.
I think it came out like right around the time of the fall of the Soviet Union, right? So it could have been a leaked copy that made it to the internet from there, or something like that.
All I know is Edward Snowden authenticated it.
Really?
Yeah, Edward Snowden authenticated that video. So
interesting.
So I think it's
regardless. I've got more questions of, like, it said you had secret clearance, as well as I'm sorry, I guess, like, that you essentially probably never knew your grandfather then, hey? Or
I remember my grandfather when I was a little kid, and he would give me silver dollars, and he was my.
Okay, so he came back to, like, into the family later on, sort of.
Yeah,
thing, like,
well, not when my grandma was around.
yeah. Oh, No, for sure, for sure.
So in any case, yeah, I do remember him, and he was like a hero of mine when I was growing up, but I didn't know he was such a scumbag until much later in my life. So
Did you ever get the chance, or do you know of any family stories that he could have in regards to the so-called Admiral Byrd diaries of like the Hollow Earth or any of that? Like, did you know of any of him ever talking about anything like that, or of being repulsed in Operation High Jump, or any of that conspiracy stuff?
I never talked to him personally. I just got it secondhand from my older brother. But essentially,
Are there any family legends essentially like that you told anybody, or no?
he
Not
was
not to your knowledge.
so what happened is when he married his second wife, his second wife threw him out about 2 weeks before he died. He had the lymphoma when he died. And so he was trying to get into the house that he built in Steamboat, Nevada. And eventually he went to Oakland, California, and his friends he was a lodge member, a Masonic lodge member, and his friends basically took him to the Veterans Hospital, where he passed away. And then after he died, the house sat vacant for many years, and supposedly he had found some red diamonds in Antarctica at some volcano there. And so he had hidden them, and my
That is absolutely fascinating.
so basically when he died, the people came and started like digging in the yard and stuff in the house, and they went in, they like vandalized inside and were looking for, like pulling out the rafters and stuff, and basically looking for his so-called treasure. But they didn't go in the front yard, in the front porch, and there was like grass growing there. And there was this big dark dog that was like guarding it. And if anyone came, it would bark at him. So my older brother, it's like 1989, he went and he had an Instamatic camera, and he took some pictures of the dog. He took 2 pictures, and they're like the old Instamatic, and the dog disappeared after he took the pictures. And the pictures, when they were exposed, were of my grandpa, it's a ghost. And then after that, the ghost was gone. So, and me and my wife were traveling, and we both saw these pictures. So that's when I started thinking that, ghosts were real, a real phenomenon.
Can I just pause and interject my own personal story? Growing up in Calgary, Alberta, Coach Hill, I'm right next to the Hart family, the wrestlers, WWF wrestlers, if you ever knew them. But I was friends with several of the kids of like Owen, sisters and brothers and whatnot, like the nephews, as well as like in the actual mansion itself a lot. And like that place is so haunted because it was a former Springbank hospital before it turned into this Hart mansion with like this dungeon and stuff. Oh, wow. And then it's like Tanya Hart, like my best friend, one of Smithy Hart's daughters, she told me like, be careful of like the one dresser mirror. And one time I was like walking in the middle of like the night, like leaving her place, like trying to like sneak out of down the like stairs and out the front without waking anybody, and like got a glance of that mirror and like damn near gave me a heart attack, saw this thing in there. And sure enough, another one of my friends at a party there, he fell down the stairs that was right behind this mirror and like almost died. He was like injured. And then I talked to him. He's like, man, I saw that ghost. And like, just like it's crazy. And then even my girlfriend Amber, she's Métis. She does a lot of lucid dreaming and like is kind of like empathetic into that spiritual realmish. And I drove her by that place, and sure enough, we parked. Speak of the devil, she calls me, as I mentioned her name. That's hilarious. But I drive her by, and sure enough, like the place has been abandoned. It's the middle of winter. There's like no tracks up to this place. Like the snow isn't broken, and it's like all of a sudden the TV turns on and like the upper room. And it's like, oh, okay. And yeah, we drove away and have not been
Was it
back
just
yet.
was it just the TV screen like in Poltergeist?
We were like parked like over a block away, like the property's so big, like sort of thing, like couldn't see what was on it, but just like turned on. Oh man. And like we swear we saw like a figure just like appear. And yeah, it's so that's my own personal story on that. We'll let you and Jim the Nightheart and Smith Hart, if either of you ever see this, I love you all. Same with Tanya Hart. They are great, absolutely great people. Brett Owen, rest in peace, as well as the other.
So well, the thing is, what I learned is that in my research is that the feelings that you feel in your heart, that's what carries over to the other side. It's the feelings that you feel in your head. That's the stuff, that's the karmic delusions, as I call them. So, and that's basically, and I don't want to give away all the whole thing, but basically, you'll see in the next few slides where I'm going with this, with the compassion culture.
Sorry, please do continue, Mike. I'm going to shut the hell up and call the lovely Amber back because she is probably on her break at work telling me when I need to get her. So we are listening, and thank you.
This slide is what I'm showing is an example of a UFO here that's going out into space. And this is, so when you're going into the medium of emptiness, this is expanded space-time. In expanded space-time, time goes faster and your length gets longer. So as you go away from the matter, that's what's happening. And so here's an example of this. And so my hypothesis is this is the gray is a time traveler from the future. So now here's the gray on, this is the gray on morality and the meaning of life. This is where he's talking about really compassion.
Okay, one last thing. What about morality? What do you think is your moral? Okay, illuminate us. What happens when we die? Okay, so let me get this straight. There's no death, and we all experience each other's lives, right?
So let's think about that for a minute. If we're all the same life, then, and death is a human construct,
I forgot about this and how truly deep the answer is, right? It's like, and the video quality that we're seeing like does not give this justice. Like there's way better original out there, I believe, than what Zoom is presenting for us, just for reference, because it's like, it's some power regardless of, like, it's just so powerful. It feels real, you know, like.
Well, I assume it's real, like I said. But the thing is, if we're all the same life, then that would suggest that when we're asleep, we're connected. When we're dreaming, we're connected. It's only when we're awake that we're judging, you know, we're basically experiencing ourselves subjectively. So if we're all the same life, compassion comes easy, if you think about it. It's just natural, and it doesn't just carry its interspecies too. I mean, if you have a pet,
Exactly, like half the time my dog eats better than I do, right? Like it's as good as I do half the meal each time.
naturally you're giving, you want to give, and it's something you learned as a little kid. Like I said, it's only through education that we learn to be violent. So now let's talk about the Chad Draconians and time travel to the past. Now I found these, there's this Jaime Mazen. He's a journalist from Mexico, and he's got all these videos that he's collected and covered over time of different phenomena, but he has several of the where the UAP is going into the volcano. This is the volcano in central Mexico. The video is from 2013. So the hypothesis is again that these UAPs are reptilian friends, Earthlings.
And this reporter, I've seen some of these works. That's like, there's not just this one. There's like multiples of them that he's caught over the years, right? Like I think there's like almost hundreds now, probably, of that exact same thing going on.
Well, I like this one because it was close to sunset. There was still you could still see color. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, good call.
So yeah, but it shows the basically the principle of what's going on. So now I have this little video that talks about the reptilian.
I love the emerald tree boa. I almost owned one once. I bought it at a pet store I worked at, and I was like raising it for 3 weeks there. The day before I was taking it home, someone stole it. Broke my heart. Such beautiful snake. Sorry, last time I interrupted.
Okay.
Reptilians are supposed reptilian humanoids, which play a prominent role in fantasy, science fiction, ufology, and conspiracy theories. The idea of reptilians was popularized by David Icke, a conspiracy theorist who claims shape-shifting reptilian aliens control Earth by taking on human form and gaining political power to manipulate human societies. Icke has stated on multiple occasions that many world leaders are, or are possessed by, so-called reptilians. Michael Barkin, professor of political science at Syracuse University, posits that the idea of a reptilian conspiracy originated in the fiction of Conan the Barbarian creator Robert E. Howard. The first appearance of serpent men in literature was in Howard's story The Shadow Kingdom, published in Weird Tales in August 1929. This story drew on theosophical ideas of the lost worlds of Atlantis and Lemuria, particularly Helena Blavatsky's The Secret Doctrine, written in 1888, with its reference to dragon men who once had a mighty civilization on the Lemurian continent. Howard's serpent men were described as humanoids who were able to imitate humans at will, and who lived in underground passages and used their shapachanging and mind control abilities to infiltrate humanity. Thank you for watching.
That's it.
That was awesome. That was
Check
awesome.
out my meme, my last meme here. It's bad.
Yet another South Park. See, South Park's done it all. It's also a South Park episode, same sort of thing. Well, I guess that was the ectoplasm. This is different. This is good. This is good. I like that. Rex, you back?
Okay, so that's it. That's
So many questions. Where to begin? So first off, it says secret research. I guess, what can you describe about that? Because clearly you can't talk about what's his secret.
yeah, all that infrared stuff that I worked on back in that time, it was all secret.
Infrared.
So it's but you see, that's why I write papers and get them published, is because then it's not a secret.
Right? Just open disclosure.
I have in my papers I can talk about, like with my patents. That's why I get patents, not so much because I think I'm going to get boodles of money in royalties. It's so that I can talk about it and not worry.
Very good reference, and absolutely
The secret sauce, right? You know.
So,
and I'm not a PhD or anything. I just do this for fun.
For sure, for sure. And just through career, right? It's like things fascinate that you want to understand. That's just the mind of a scientist. You look into things and you explore, you do it, you solve it, you engineer it.
Well, and it's okay to not agree. I feel like failure is not an option. It's a learning experience. It's like you gotta fail to get it right.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
you have to learn from experience.
Like making toast in the morning, right? When you first toast, you always burn it, right?
Yeah, you gotta have that certain thickness, or it's dark. Burnt.
So I'm glad I was worried that it was going to take too long. So it looks like I got it for like an hour, huh?
Yeah. Perfect hour. Oh my God, what was just the question I just had about that we were just talking about? Brain fart. Secret sauce. Infrared.
Yeah, infrared.
What are your thoughts about being able to see trans-dimensional entities in these different light waves, and specifically if you've heard of like the Cliff High claim, as well as others talk about that infrared, the military was seeing demon entities, and that's why they had to switch it to green to no longer be able to see that realm. And then also of CERN video images of certain like plasmas and entities coming out of these things. Do you have any opinions on those?
Well, I think there's a lot of the what we call UAPs are natural. They're not artificial. Like the tictoc, I think, was artificial.
Yeah, right. Because I specifically asked Kevin Day when he was on APEC that day if he felt it was like a plasma orb, like ball lightning, or if it was like a constructed craft. And he specifically said he felt felt and or like knew that it was a entity of a craft and a technology operated by a consciousnness, as opposed to just being a plasma orb or bubble or a natural phenomenon of any sort.
So I got this this other presentation. Let me see here. If you want, I'll go ahead and share that.
Yes, please do.
Here we go. Okay, so here, can you see this? The tic-tac space-time metric engineering general relativity effects.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so now what's going on here? We're looking at the tic-tac, and you see these like little bubble regions. Now this is artificial. Obviously, it's creating something in space-time, and so like I break it down here with this where I make these little bubbles, and you see the lighter stuff on the right. That's where you're creating denser space-time, like where the UFO UAP is heading into the volcano. That's the denser space-time. Above it, the dark region, the balloon above it, that's expanded space-time. That's the anti-gravitational field. And then
Gotcha.
over on the left here is these dark regions. That's expanded space-time too, and that's where our wormhole is opening. Okay, and then that, if you look at that, the dark torus over there's a torus in that balloon above the UAP, and it's spinning counterclockwise. And then if you look down on the right, the lower right, you'll see this yellow balloon feature here. That's where it's like interacting both the expanded and the expanded and the contracted space-time together. And there's a little spinning torus to the left of that. That dark region is also spinning, but it's spinning clockwise for some reason. Now I'm going to show the warp. And you see how it goes over to the left there, and it stretches out. And that's because in expanded space-time, the length gets longer, but the time gets shorter. On the right side, the opposite is going on. And what's going on here is, if you imagine that the tic-tac is the arrow, and the region on the right is like a bow, in the bow and arrow. And when it lets go, blam, it takes off.
Man, this is so fascinating, and you've hit a part in my brain of this footage I've got myself of some of my electrolysis experiments, and this one form of bubble that comes up, and it on high quality recording, or milliframes per second, I guess it is. It catches it, and it doesn't pop. It actually just shoots up. Like when it bursts out of the water, it just shoots up, and it looks almost identical to how you're pointing this out, and just.
Okay, so now what I have here is this frames from the tic-tac where it looks like the tic-tac is hitting the aircraft with a pulse, and when you see that crosshatch pattern when it brightens, you see a crosshatch. That's the readout on the back side of the detector array. So it's heating up behind the sensors, not in front of it. That's why you can see that crosshatch pattern. And I know about that because I used to make these things. So some made that tic-tac feel uncomfortable.
Well, didn't they send out the fighter to record it right then?
So now I'm going to talk a little bit about coronal mass ejections and solar flares, because in a solar flare, the photons of electromagnetism reach the Earth in 7 minutes. In the coronal mass ejection, a wave of protons follows, showering the Earth in a relativistic speed proton flux 3 days later. It takes 3 days to get to us. That's because the gravity travels slower than the speed of light.
Gotcha.
So now
That's something that always like perplexed my mind.
So one of the things that they found is that a day before one of these solar flares and CMEs happen, the radioactive decay rate changes on the opposite side of the Earth from the sun a day before. Now it's
That's weird.
It's the future pushing back.
Yeah.
So now that's what this is about.
Thunderbolts project at thunderbolts.info. For many years, a scientific controversy has been brewing far from the spotlight of mainstream media. How constant are physical constants? For decades, the scientific consensus has been that true constants, such as the speed of light and the gravitational force, remain unchanged over time. But in recent years, more and more evidence has challenged this assumption. A telling example is now posed by observed changes in supposedly constant radioactive decay rates in relation to solar flares.
In 1904, Ernest Rutherford wrote the book, literally, on radioactive decay. In this book, he states, in no uncertain terms, the constancy of the rates of radioactive decay. This allegation was initially shown to be consistent with experiment, and so was generally accepted. Not to be double-checked, and monthly cycles weren't enough. Nature had yet another surprise in store for a pair of Purdue researchers. While searching for new methods of random number generation via nuclear decay, Jenkins and Fishback recorded 3 drops in manganese 54 counts of about 0.1%, corresponding with the 3 December 2006 solar flares.
One of the effects that was discovered was on the night side of the Earth, the radioactive decay decreased roughly a day before a flare appeared on the sun. And this effect was noted a number of times, so it was reproducible. The question then was, how do we get an effect happening on the other side of the Earth, on the night side of the Earth, away from the sun, being registered through the Earth?
The Purdue researchers who discovered this correlation initially tried to avoid speculating about this problem and published just the correlation, but their submission was rejected on the grounds that there was no known mechanism for radioactive decay counts to decrease in anticipation of a solar flare. Being forced to come up with a mechanism, they were later able to publish a paper where they suggest that a massive increase in solar neutrino production prior to the flare is responsible for the decreased counts. The reasoning is that the neutrino weakly interacts, and beta decay is via the weak force. Unfortunately for that theory, it was already established in 1998 that variation is present in substances which alpha decay, which is via the strong force. Neutrinos can't be the effector. So are there better explanations to be had in an electric universe?
The point is that all matter is connected in the universe. All of this suggests that it is much simpler than the neutrinos. It is this direct connection between all matter in the universe. And if quantum theory is telling us anything at all, it's telling us that it's due to resonant effects in matter, so that the atoms that are disturbed on the sun leading up to a solar flare, that disturbance, that change in the resonance of those atoms is available to radioactive atoms on Earth. In other words, this direct connection can invoke a change in decay rate.
That's pretty cool.
I do love the Thunderbolts project and everything they've been doing, and then especially the Sapphire project through the Electric Universe guys and the cold fusion work.
They're awesome. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about these 4 UAP videos that were recently authenticated by the government. And so what I have here is the Apache UAP video, and there's 3 UAPs in it. And if you look at the far field image, you'll see, if you notice, the little circle on the left is where the UAPs are approximately located. And
yeah, I hadn't even know this existed. Thank you, like, for bringing these up, man. Like, this is awesome, even more. Now, and this is from helicopters from the Apaches, 3 in 1.
And so this has, but what most folks missed is there's a tornado shaped thing over to the above and right of the thing. So what I did this report with this other guy, Steve Leah, and basically we said that, yeah, it's these aerial phenomenon, this UAPs appear as warm spots on the IR imager. They appear flying in formation, breaking formation, flying in loops, colliding with each other, defying all known capabilities of any craft we know. But we think it's natural, and you'll see why. So here's the far field. You'll see, look for that vortex. You see it there?
Yeah, spinning. Whoa. That's pretty huge. That's a big anomaly.
Yeah, well, that's space-time metric engineering right there. But it's natural. Okay, so
that is absolutely fascinating discovery, Mr. Boyd.
So now here's some close-ups. You gotta look closely of the 3 UAPs. They're basically 3 vortices that are intersecting. You can't really see, they're hard to resolve, but you can see them there.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Okay, so now what we did is we took those little the little dots and we looked at them close up. What we did is we inverted the image, you know, like a negative, and then we cropped out the regions around the circle. Now you can see the little vortices there. And
yeah. Wow. I always knew spinning has something to do with this higher dimensional gravity flux.
So now you see, we got it slowed down to one frame per second. And you can, if you look at the little circles there, you'll see they have like structure inside them.
Yeah, they look like little ball bearings within each other, little tornado hurricane ball bearing things.
Little vertice of the thing, you know, where the little tornado vertice is.
Yeah.
But you can see they disappear too sometimes, like that one, they're gone because that's not like something that's artificial. I think that's natural.
Yeah, just the toroidal shape and spin of the universe. And
Well, no, we were talking before about the CME, how it made a day before you
the
could.
future, yeah, yeah.
It was like, okay, so on this one, it was November 6th when we saw the 3 UAPs. On November 7th, the CME occurred. And I found that out by looking at the spaceweather.com and putting that date in there. You see that there?
So that's pretty interesting. I wonder if
Large
there's
hole,
a pattern.
a large hole in the sun's atmosphere is turning to face Earth and it's spewing a stream of solar wind towards our planet. That's what the headline was. So, I mean, this is obviously something natural.
Or could be utilized from it too, right? Have you seen Nassim Haramein's like research with the black hole within the star and how it interacts with the Schwarzschild proton thesis, and basically that the sun has a black hole in the center of it that some UFOs come in and out of?
Oh, well, well, I think there's one in the center of our Earth too.
Yeah, his Schwarzschild proton also thesis also states that there is one inside of the center of the Earth.
I don't know about Schwarzschild, but I know that it's all protons. Protons are what power everything. So
yeah.
So now I'm going to talk about this A10 Warthog FLIR. It's one UAP. You see in this image, it's black, and then now I had problems with this video before, so let me know if I lose you when I open this up. Okay. This is the actual original video. So can you see my
yeah, I can see it clearly right now.
Okay. I'm opening the video. You see the blue screen?
No blue screen, still the A10 Warthog FLIR.
Oh, yeah, no. So you're not seeing the, so I got to stop share. Then I got to reshare.
It's all about sharing. Sharing is caring.
Where is it?
Bottom screen, share screen. Middle of the.
Where is it?
Are you looking for your video?
Yeah, I think I got it right there. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, here we go. So there's the UAP.
Yeah, so that one looks more like what might be called a Foo Fighter from like World War II times, essentially. Hey, less of a tic-tac.
Yeah, well, it's again, this is a natural thing. You'll see. This is you can see it's poor quality.
It's showing up on infrared though.
Yeah.
No, this isn't infrared. Is this infrared?
Yeah, this is in the infrared. So now it just went white hot from black hot. It's just they changed the image from white hot to white hot from black hot. Pretty crappy video, huh?
Yeah, it's just jumping all over the place. what sort of aircraft is this recorded from? Is it drone, Apache, or Warthog, or something else on this one?
It's the A-10 Warthog.
It is the A-10 Warthog.
Yeah, so I'm gonna stop it because
That's why such crappy quality, because it's an older ground attack aircraft.
there's an explanation. Okay, sure, I'm gonna stop. Okay, now let's go back to the PowerPoint. Where are we? Right there. Okay, so now we'll go to the next slide. Okay. Why isn't it advancing? Oh,
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what we found is that the UAP is another spinning vortex moving in loops that cause the UAP to exhibit enormous acceleration. What we observed, we suggest, is a naturally occurring phenomenon, a magnetic plasma vortex that's formed when a crack opened up in the Earth's magnetic field associated with
Mike, I'm sorry, I'm going to be watching on my phone, but I have to run outside because it is Canada Day right now and I hear the fireworks going off. So I just want to take a quick look. So I will be watching and keep going, and I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Okie dokie.
And happy Independence Day in 3
Well,
days.
hey, Byrd, can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
Just pause for a couple minutes and then I can come back because I'd like to go get something to drink.
Yeah, actually, okay, I can make a note, and I'll play a little clip here for 5 minutes.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll have a smoke break and then come back.
That would be wonderful because I was only planning on an hour, and luckily my wife's out hanging with one of her buddies, but
perfect. Okay, we'll do a 5-minute break here, and then we'll do another half hour and finish.
Yeah, and then we'll be, it'll probably only be 15 minutes because we've already covered pretty much 2 of the videos, and there's 2 more to go.
For sure, my friend.
Rubber Duck and the Witch. And then, and what's cool about these 2 UAPs is they're cold on the IR.
Yeah, that's completely different.
What the hell's going on there? So okay, I'll see you in 5, Byrd.
Yeah, sounds good. So I am just loading a little video of my own from earlier this week. We're gonna play the Science of Sound.
And we're going to be talking about frequencies tonight, and we have a music artist on the show with us, and basically energy and music, and well, that's where it all started, with music and modulating music into electricity to basically making it media that we have today. So frequency and music is a no-brainer, they go hand in hand.
The resonant frequency of the Earth is 432 hertz, and all music was written and played in 432, but it was changed in World War II by Himmler, I believe. It was behind it, and they changed it all to 440. So it's not in tune.
That's
with,
right. Yes.
With us and with nature and the Earth and all that. It's out of tune now.
And so the picture I have up right now is one of Walter Russell's, and it's showing the octave scale and how the octave scale goes through chemistry creation, through geometry, through sound, through light, and through color.
But I mean, it's always been one of those things I've never really focused on whenever I tried learning piano, like the black keys, why are they there? When you play them, they just seem like off. They just make you feel a certain way instantaneously. It's like a lot of things. It just, that kind of connection, that kind of vibe or whatever it projects, that you get it immediately in that speed.
With the black keys, it sounds like it's the ether more, you know, it's a background subconscious sound or frequency, you know, like to do with dreams and, you know, the other realms, which is interesting because when you listen to music today, you know, especially, you know, like the pop music, it's got a very heavy backbeat, right? We put you in a certain state where you're accepting with the backbeat, and then they sing all their lyrics into your mind, which is how they program you.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Ooh, so that's like if you're resonating with the right harmony, you're getting like up in consciousness or in dreamland. If you're resonating with the dark hole, you're getting sucked back down to like the upside down. No, thank you, Stranger Things.
If I'm doing certain sounds, sometimes like if I'm doing like breathing sounds or sounds with my throat, it depends. Like, but some of those frequencies do calm me down. And, you know, a lot of those frequencies can be used to trigger people to feel, you know, anxiety as well. And I think that happens a lot. And it's open to conspiracy and to interpretation on how people use those frequencies to really put people at a state of vulnerability. Because music's very powerful in that kind of way that can, you know, shape even the most strongest of minds.
Yeah, it's subliminal. And also, yeah, it's the way I see it too is it's been used all throughout history. If you even goes to back to the biblical times, you know, when they crumbled the walls of Jericho, they used a certain tone and frequency as a weapon, right? And we're doing it again today. We're coming up with ultrasonic weapons.
Vibrations is important. It's what makes people feel a certain way. It's what makes people, you know, it could be used as a, you know, they have specific things that can alter your mood based upon frequency. So, I mean, it's good to understand different aspects of sound, the very thing that everybody seems to be comfortable with when they hear something called music.
Yeah, that's a good thing. You don't be out of tune.
Think about that. Sound. Like Pac-Man.
Yeah.
And sorry about that. All right, I guess I'm back. Rex is absent, as is Mike, so I will keep everyone enthralled for the next few until Mike gets back here. I did just email the link, Jeremiah, to you if you want to join, as well as to Faraday Research if you guys got a couple questions for Michael Boyd before we end this off here in 20 minutes. We'll be doing a question period as soon as Mike gets back. There's some fascinating stuff there. He's showed that disclosed that his grandfather was quite the celebrity and was featured. Even the reporter listed him off by name, that his grandfather Boyd was going down that Antarctic tunnel next to Admiral Byrd. And that's I could only imagine, essentially, that Mr. Boyd, you have the best chance within your family of confirming or denying the rumors of the Admiral Byrd Hollow Earth journey and diary. And do you mind speculating on that at all?
Well, if my hypothesis about the reptilian overlords is correct, then it would make sense that a volcano located in Antarctica, where my grandpa got them so-called red diamonds, that would be a time portal to the past, and that the rumored reptilians that are there that supposedly worked with the Nazis, right? That certainly there could be a underground facility there. Whether the Earth is hollow or the moon is hollow, since it rings like a bell, I don't know. But in experimental physics, there are no outliers. That means you got to consider all the data, even the crazy stuff. Right?
What's hilarious is literally I just started reading the question board. I asked for the live viewers the questions, and you covered, do you believe reptilians are real? So basically, yes, if they are, they'd be down there, you just said. Or what is running the world govs, and how advanced, oh, this one, is our own UFO tech?
Well, I don't know. The thing is I don't think there's extraterrestrials. I think they're transdimensional. They're Earthlings. They're all Earthlings. And since IQ and race and gender, those are all constructs.
Because it's like especially in the ancient cultures and societies, and if you read the Book of Tibet and Dead of Egypt and the Mayan stuff, and like their legends is like Thoth and these like half human, half Egyptian figures and stuff like that.
They took the image of a bird. Angels have feathers, right? If you've got a pet parakeet, that's a dinosaur.
I actually had 2 Red Lord Amazon growing up. Sadly, they both passed. My parents had them before me. They lived into their almost 50s, but I had them for most of up just until a couple years ago. But the parrots are phenomenal, amazing, definite dinosaurs of animals. And that
too.
I still have a red-eared slider turtle. I have Tyson the turtle.
A turtle is a reptile, but it's cold-blooded. It's not warm-blooded.
So our birds are warm-blooded, aren't they?
Yeah, birds are warm-blooded. That's what dinosaurs were. Dinosaurs were warm-blooded. They move fast. Okay.
Dinosaurs were warm-blooded. I don't think I've ever heard that. That would make a lot more sense, though.
But
as are birds.
Would it be okay if I finish up my little presentation? Because
of course, absolutely, Mike.
A short time window, because the natives are getting restless. I told them that they were going to have TV dinners, and they are
fair enough,
feeling dissatisfied with that. So I need to whip up something for my family, because it's almost 10 o'clock at night.
Oh, of course.
Okay. So
say hello to the little ones, and thank you for letting Dad spend the time.
They're not little, they're big. Okay, here we go. So we're talking about the A10 and how basically it's a spinning vortex thing again. So now, I got to start the slideshow again. So now you'll notice I have the white. When it's white hot, and you'll see this little WH there. And then the displays also show like the date here, April 14th, and they show the altitude, 4,961 feet. Here's where it's in the black hut mode. See the jet plumes coming out of the A-10 and see the UAP. Okay, so now there's it's stability issue. So we had to adjust the stability and remove the displays so that you can see what's going on. So when we do that, what we noted is that there's like, it's like each frame stacked in the helical oscillation motion.
That, man, the work you're doing with the rendering is just next level, Mr. Boyd.
Okay, and now here we have a far field observation, and you can see this, it's an atmospheric phenomena, a vortex, and a wave of atmospheric particle flux towards the Earth.
Yeah, I can see almost like, looks like some light pillars and stuff amongst it.
Okay, so now we're going to look at it in the near field, and we can again see the magnet. It's being buffeted by surrounding wave of particles interacting. So now on April 15th, it was due to a crack opening up in the Earth's magnetic field. And so again, I went on spaceweather.com and I put in that date, and this little graph here below, you can see it has this like window about an hour and a half, 2 hours, where it says B sub Z tilted south for 2 hours, opening a crack in the Earth's magnetic field. So just think of that crack in the Earth's magnetic field is letting in all the proton flux from outer space. There's no shield there. So that's why you saw them particles in the background.
Or if how they got it. Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. But is that how they traveled to get in, right? If it was from the sun,
crack in the atmosphere, so there was no magnetic shield. And at the same time on the sun, there was a sunspot.
Yeah, right. You're putting that all together. That's amazing science right there that you've got.
The Solar Dynamic Observatory, you can see these sunspots or islands of magnetism floating on the surface of the sun. Okay, now we're going to
whether or not it's necessarily a natural phenomenon, or it could also be an advanced technology or entity that is utilizing those forces of the masses and energies of the sun and planet too.
Exactly. Certainly. So now we have La Bruja, or the witch. It's one UAP. We have it's black hot, you'll see, and you'll see the UAP is cold on the IR. It's white. So now we're gonna open up. Hopefully you'll be able to see the video. If not, we'll have to
close and restart it.
Yeah, I'll have to.
Might have to do that again.
Let's see here.
This is a lot of work that you've put together, Mr. Boyd, in deciphering these videos and plotting them and keeping the government's disclosure meaningful to the public, and actually helping science with what the work that you're doing here, sir.
Can you see the video?
No, it's still the same slide for showing the IR image.
Okay, let me, I have to, let's see here.
Stop share at the top and then reshare at the bottom, I think.
Yeah, I gotta, okay. Let's go stop share. And then reshare. Can you see the blue screen?
You gotta, it's showing the file folder right now.
Okay. Still not working.
It showed the file, like it's still showing the file folder, not the video itself.
Yeah, I gotta unshare again and reshare. I got it. I'll get it.
Exactly. This has been one epic stream and presentation, my friends.
Okay, now can you see the screen?
Yes, sir. We 100% got it.
Okay, here we go. It's about a minute long. Okay, remember, black is hot. Now you'll see some cows, so I'll point out right before the UAP shows up.
Good old cows.
Okay, there you go. There's a UAP.
This one's close to the ground, eh? So this kind of looks like ball lightning-ish, like something that you've seen along the ley lines that make the crop circles.
See the cows?
Yeah, yeah.
See how
Fly
fast
straight over them.
are walking compared to how fast the UAP is moving? That's important.
Yes, absolutely. That's key reference. That's not ball lightning, though. Definitely not.
No, it's something else, but it's definitely cold.
That could be a ghoul or a ghost.
Or cold fusion.
Right? Yet another type. Yet another type. And I'll let you finish up and then I will bring up my alchemy electrolysis. That is going to be a whole nother episode I need to get you for. But
yeah, okay. Let's go back to the video, to the presentation. Okay, so now you've seen the video.
Yes, sir.
Okay, why isn't it? There we go. So obviously we have a UAP here. The location of the UAP in the vicinity of the grazing cattle provides a perspective on the size and velocity of the UAP. Steve did some imaging analysis on the effects. The cold temperature is unexplained. The slow velocity and indifference of the cattle to the nearby phenomena suggests the feature was benign. On as far as the sun goes, the sun was blank, no sunspots, but we didn't see any CMEs or anything. The question is this naturally occurring or artificial, manufactured? Because it's so slow, maybe it's a balloon or something. So now here I've got just those frames with the cattle, so you can see how fast this thing is moving. It's not that fast.
Yeah, it's a complete different type of entity, UAP distortion.
So when we look at the far field, we saw these weird images showing up. And Steve was suggesting, yeah, well, if it's artificial, these guys are trying to mimic the lightness of kind of like ghosts. You'll see. Next few slides. Here's another one.
Whoa. That's some creepy, ghostly sort of entity things.
Look at
It's
that.
almost what you see like in the cave paintings.
Yeah, look at this one.
And Rex, are you here? Because like this, like that looks exactly like what Rex constantly sees in the caves around his place
Cool.
in like Colorado, Utah, like all the different
Oh, maybe
not
that.
geoglyphs, but
Okay, so now here's the last one. I gotta finish up though because I gotta feed the people.
yes, sir. He should be back any minute because it is the end.
Okay, we're probably gonna have to stop share again to see the.
No worries.
Hold on, open up.
Once the next one we'll do on StreamYard again, Mike, and we'll be able to preload a bunch of the content and stuff like that ahead of time, so it'll run more smoothly.
Okay. You're gonna need that to stop pretty soon. Mom's making a mess.
Okay, I saw that, and that was amazing.
You did, nice.
Cool. Okay, so now I'm gonna have to
I figured you'd be watching in the background somewhere, as I usually do. Don't have to have the
oh yeah, this is awesome.
Zoom, but the yeah, like just on the phone and whatnot. It's awesome. And Rex, in the future, I gotta do like an hour with you on or just on StreamYard to just show you how much like simpler and easier it is to tie in, so that it's like you can go live on like your Twitter, your Facebook, multiple YouTubes, and your website simultaneously, and then also have like a whole bunch of ability to preload some videos into it, as well as like pictures, slides and stuff, and it's just exponentially easier for recording and live streams.
Yeah, but Bernie, I keep telling you, man, the reason I've put $50,000+ into the website is so I can do the shows.
No. So it's that you could do, it's that only like half hour or an hour has to go.
Michael's got to feed his family. Let's talk about this later, bro. Michael's got to feed his family.
sorry. This video to work. Okay, can you guys see that video?
So I see the file, but not the actual video, the file of the video.
Okay, hold on. Let's see, unshare, stop share, start share screen. Here we go. I think this is the one I already showed, isn't it, Bernie? Yeah.
Yeah, but let's see it again. I mean, this is incredible.
The one
What is
with
it,
the
30
cows.
feet off the ground? How high is it off the ground?
You got the wrong one open. Okay, hold on. Got to go back to the PowerPoint and.
Well, while you're pulling that up, Michael, how high off the ground was that UFO? Like 30 feet off the ground?
It wasn't very high, no.
Wow, that's wild. It's almost like it was looking for a cow. It was like scanning
right.
the cow.
I was like, did it? It looked like it almost paused momentarily around the cows, or like went up or something. I was like consciously thinking, like, how is it interacting around those cows?
Yeah.
One
Well,
just turned
cows
mutilated all of a sudden. Like,
the cow
is
didn't.
this the moment?
Okay, let's try this now. I think I got it right this time. Okay, can you see the video now?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so let's go 20 point. It's supposed to be 20. Why isn't it? Okay, I started a little 20. No, I want to get it to the right point so you can see. Yeah, there's this, okay, here we go. So this is before it comes into the image. That's
So is this one an Apache or a Warthog again that it's filming from?
this is Rubber Duck we're watching. Okay, so now you're going to start right about now. You're going to see some cows. See the cows there? Now the rubber duck's going to show up right now. There it is. See it?
Oh yeah, yeah. The rubber duck, I get it. Weird.
Yeah, it's
weird shape.
It's cold. And notice that when it goes over the white stuff is the snow down below. And the black stuff is the warm stuff. So the cows, remember the cows were black because they were
It
warm.
kind of looks like the Jetsons head, like that robot, like like the
it's so
Lincoln, but not at all what it is. Not at all. I'm just
but basically that's you know, it's pretty much the same thing over and over again for like another 30 minutes. So no,
like that potentially I could see as possible super advanced military drone technology testing that one, but like because it's nothing like the tic-tacs.
I think it's natural. So okay.
That and it could well be even more right. It's
to me, it looks like a ship. To me, it looks like a craft, a drone of some type that is clearly above most people's pay grade because it's completely, it's not sending any thermal and they're using super high-end FLIR technologies. So that to me looks like one of the tic-tacs, man. But you can see like it's got a little tiny antenna. It's got some antenna.
Yeah,
thing.
right. So, and I guess these ones were recently cleared by the Pentagon as authentic and all filmed through
Here we
military.
go. Here's some imaging where I basically you see the black cattle and they're warm, and then you see the rubber duck shows up, and you can see it says BH down in the left lower. It's that BH. I mean, it's black hot. So see the cow there.
Yeah, the three. All right.
Here comes the rubber duck.
Right, it's like it's almost got a little bulb that's separated from the main like cylinder cigar shapey-ish, like bulby.
So here's a far field image, and we see these topographical features like it's like these little, there's magnetic anomalies that you can see as it travels over the surface of the ground. It's kind of like magnetic field effects associated with the surface topography of the underlying terrain.
That's really fascinating. Sorry.
Why would you? Oh no, that's okay. My bad. Why would you think that this is natural though?
Well, I'll show you in the next couple slides.
Okay.
Okay, so on November 23rd, when the UAP is due to a coronal mass ejection that occurred on November 24th. And it says the southern hole is open in the sun's atmosphere and it's spewing solar wind towards the Earth. So
now this is the second video you've shown out of these UFOs that have been confirmed recently by the Pentagon that has a solar flare the day after or the day before that these happened.
The day after this was observed. And it's because, like I said, there's a pre-signal from the sun the day before. It affects as that one scientist suggested It's it has to do with the vibrational effects, because space-time vibrates. It's not like light. Light goes in a straight line, but space-time goes in a spiral.
Oh yes, it's always in that spiral, the vortex. So it's that it's either that it's a natural coming from the sun, like space weather is what you're saying the cause, but it could also be that a conscious higher technology or beings have also used this masses and energies of the sun and planet interactions for the appearances.
Like a lot of
energy.
observing UFOs with thunderstorms and stuff.
Please, I'm having the
Okay.
mob on myself.
Okay.
And
I'll
you're
be
like an
done.
hour-
Family is hungry.
My,
Thank you.
my time window is closed, folks.
Well, thank you. Thank you for being a guest on LeakProject, and thank you for all that you do. I'd be honored to speak with you again.
Yeah, it was fun. I just wish I had more time.
Absolutely. We will do it again. Me and Rex have been talking in the background that we'll try to arrange a panel of other renowned ufologists in the scientific realm that we can do an epic episode on.
Okay,
Thanks,
well,
Michael.
Thanks for having you guys. Thanks for having me. Gotta go though.
See you, brother.
Yeah,
Take care,
for
man.
sure, Mr.
You're
Boyd.
awesome.
Thank you, sir, and thank you for sharing your family story as well.
Oh, cool.
And
no problem. Thanks.
I'll email you.
That drama, dudes.
I'm hanging up right now. Bernie, love you, brother. Talk to you
Love
soon.
you as well. Guys, have a good one. Rex, I'll email you my notes for editing everything. And thank you all. Much love and respect. See you on the next one.
Be the change you want to see.